Alright, this is going to be a long video, but I prefaced it by saying if you want to skip to the big parts, I'll put some timelines in there for you. But if you want to sit down and be entertained for an hour, then this is the video for you. Just a warning, this is a long video, but it captures me finding this car, going to get it, struggling trying to load it, getting it home, tearing it apart, and ending up with the motor there on the stand. So you can skip to the parts that you want to see, but if you want to be entertained for the next hour, stay tuned. Hope you like the content. Thanks for all the subscribers. What's up, YouTube? So you'll see behind me, I got the trailer hooked up to the truck. So what could possibly be going on? You know me, always something crazy going on. Stay tuned, you're in for a surprise. Well, if the driveway looks familiar, I'm at Jason Brazzel's house, and this is his son's Mustang that I'm getting. Not the trailer, just the Mustang. So we're gonna do some custom stuff here trying to get this Mustang off. Hang tight. Right now I got my air compressors pumping up each slick, and this is it. Hopefully they hold air enough to get it to move. Yeah, they're pumping up. Fix that handle. All right, it is loaded. I asked him for specs on it, like if he could tell me what's in the motor and what it ran, and he believed it ran 640, 650s on motor, is what he said. He didn't know if it ever had a number on nitrous. That's what he was telling me. All loaded up. That slick's got so many cracks in it, we could pump it up and it went flat. This one actually holds air. The front tires were actually brand new when it went to sit and had stickers on them. I don't know if I'll run them. They'll probably got bad flat spots on them, but either way, I'm gonna get this thing out of here. Go to the house. Another Foxbody at the TTSaleen speed shop. Thanks to Jason Brazzel for making the transaction happen. All right, so if you can see the car behind me on the way home, so I picked up from Jason Brazzel. It's his son, Austin, who's in the military, and he's stationed in Omaha, Nebraska. He's been out there for, I don't know, I think 5 years or so, they were saying. And the car's basically sat. The car belonged to Austin's dad, and he raced it for years back at the Holcomb Motorsports Civil War shootout at Rockingham, if you remember those back in the day. And the car was a winner in the bracket races. Apparently it's got a 351 stroker, 408 cubic inches with a set of can-filled heads that reported by Fox Lake, and a lot of specs they're going to send me on it. C4 transmission and like a 410 or 430 gear in the rear, and it would go 640s and 650s on just motor. It's got a nitrous kit, but I can't get a straight answer if they ever sprayed it or they just had it on there. But mid sixes in the 8th with the stroker motor and a C4, that ain't bad. The car's really light. I'm sure it's about 2,800 pounds because they gutted it, a lot of it. Some of the stuff I gotta fix, but I'm trying to make up my mind what I want to do with this project build, because it is a red coupe with black interior, and it's been sitting. It hasn't ran in over, I think, 6 or 8 years. The last time it actually ran, when Austin had it, and basically he didn't do nothing with it. It sat in his dad's shop, then he got it, and he brought it over to Jason's and had it parked out back. And long story short, we made a deal, and now it's part of the TTSaleen fleet. And you know what? This is how we were doing things back in the 90s. Some of you may not have been born back then, but I was born in 72, and back in the mid to late 90s, 10.5-inch tire drag racing was where it was at. There were no drag radial classes. Everybody ran a 28 10.5 Mickey Thompson slick, which is what's on it, and a set of Bogart wheels or welds, which it has both, has welds on the back and Bogarts on the front. You ran a Power Glide or C4. You had a Windsor motor, 302 or 351 base with a nitrous kit, and that was the combination. That's what everybody had, because that's what was available back then. There weren't superchargers and turbos in the class back then. You either had a small block or a big block and nitrous. And this car really is a time capsule. It shows you exactly what it was like back then. So I don't know, I may keep it to period correct, you know, just fix it up, tear it apart, because it's been sitting. I'm gonna tear it apart forever, try to turn it over, get everything going through. I got to rip all the fuel system out and redo it, and you got to clean the interior and take everything out. But I think it's a really cool car. One, it's a red coupe, and two, it's just got some of that nostalgia, which I like. So stay tuned. I'll try to throw some more in here. Just wanted to talk about it a little bit on the way home. I don't know if I mentioned a lot of this stuff previously.
Can't show your mom this video.
Okay.
Not with that shirt.
So here I'm at the car wash. I'm gonna try to blow some years of debris off of this thing and out of it. And you can tell it's a nice rainy day. So either way, can't always pick the best time. Apparently some mice have been in here. So I need to get to the vacuum cleaner. But look at all this. Wow, it's horrible. Okay, let's get to it. Alright, so I got the white TT Fox finished up, the new radiator. Now I'm bringing in the 90 coupe race car. Got to get off my trailer, but 3 of the 4 tires are flat. So I got to put air in them. I got my compressors running right now to get them up. And as soon as they're done, then I'm going to roll it off into the garage, where the plan is to start taking it all apart. I got to rip all the interior and trunk stuff out because it had mice pee and stuff in it. It smells disgusting. All right, got it unloaded as you saw in the time lapse. Let's see what all we got here. Looks like trans cooler up there, some rubber lines to it. Looks like a coilover kit and a bump steer. Oh, this is pretty well intact. No real rust. Sitting on the trailer helped that. Up here we got the fuel pump. That looks like a Holly blue, tried and true. You got a set of long tube headers there. This pan, like the paint's coming off. Well, they must have had a leak. They got a lot of silicone on here. Oh great, the balancer's rusted. I can't see the numbers. That's gonna suck. A lot of silicone on the pan. Oof. That's a ton of silicone here on the bottom of the pan. I wonder if it was rusty and leaked or what. But it's gonna need an oil pan. It's got the nice deeper pan for the C4. That's okay. And let's see here. I don't think it's got a brake on it. No. A hole in the header right here, so that's not gonna work. And a hole there, so those are junk. It does have a pretty snazzy X pipe on it. Aluminum drive shaft with some silicone there. I guess that's a speedo out. They silicone that up. Looks like a pair of glass pack or bullet style mufflers on it. Well, and rear end looks like it's got a set of old school HPM Megabyte Junior, I think they're called. Looks like the torque box got ripped out at one point. That's gonna have to be fixed back. Well, might have to do some Jason Brazzel on that. And it's got subframe connectors, but they're the short ones. They're not the full length, which kind of suck. Somebody ran the battery cable through here, and you can see right there where it got pinched by somebody lifting it, not me. So that's got to be changed. It does have the anti-roll bar on it. That might be a UPR, can't really tell, but it's there. Set of strained shocks on the back. Looks like stock springs with a bunch of spacers or something right there. And drum brakes. Back here we have another Holley pump. That's the black pump, and the filter for it, which feeds a very small line there up to the front, like to the factory connection, which that's got to go. And they took the tank out and they put in this sump, and then somehow or another water got in here and rusted this floor out really bad, so that's got to be fixed. Ooh, what kind of critter is that? Alright, we're gonna have to kill that. And looks like a bolt or something there. That's weird. And looks like somebody was trying to tow it or something back here. I don't know what they were doing. They just ripped it open to get that bolt in there, maybe. Gotta fix that. Probably put a regular gas tank in it or something. Oof. You gotta quit looking at it. The more I look, the worse it is. But put it this way, if you're buying it for the body, body's not bad at all. Faded. I don't like a Cobra snake on a Foxbody, but whatever. I'll take that off. I love Bogart wheels. I think these are the Bogart Force 5s. Let's see here. Yep, right there it says Force 5. These are beautiful wheels. I love these wheels. Let's see, we got a... Oh man, we got some loose bearings in that bad boy. That's not very good. Let's see this one. This one's actually fine. This one needs some help. All right, well. And the tires don't hold air because they sound the trailer so long. There's actually cracks in the sidewall, so it leaks out about as fast as it goes in. So these tires I'll throw away. And yeah, I'll have to get some more. 4-lug thug though, how you doing? Let's see, is it a spool? Yep, it is a spool rear. I figured it was. I just don't know what kind of splines. If it happens to be 35 spline spool, I have a brand new set of strange axles over there with C-clip eliminators that I could put on it. And now I can put my 5-lug Bogart wheels on it, which would be cool to match the front. So, got a little bit to do here. I gotta figure out if I want to tackle the interior and the trunk. I gotta rip all that stuff out because it stinks from mice getting in there and water and it being cooped up for so many years. But apparently, I want to say last time it ran was at least 6 or 8 years ago. And that was just cranked and running in the shop where it was at. And since then, it's been sitting outside on a car trailer. But it has a very rich history, which I'll throw in some pictures while we're watching this if you haven't already seen them. And the previous owner, his dad raced it all throughout I guess the 2000s, you know. Holcomb Motorsports, Civil War shootout, bracket racing, and apparently the car was a mid-6 car, pretty consistent. I just can't understand, is it mid-6s on motor or did it have the nitrous for that? Because it's got the nitrous hooked up. But anyway, foot braking C4 with nitrous, and you know, in the pictures you'll see yanking the tires and riding out. And like I say, car works, or did work at one point, had potential and had run good, but like I say, when it sits up so long the headers are rusted like that. I was sitting here debating on trying to get it running like it is, but I don't take chances like that. So I'm gonna rip everything out, motor and transmission out, and I'm gonna tear it down here for you guys to check it out. We're gonna go through and see it all we got, but that's supposed to be an SVO block. And we'll see how it looks and just give it a good once over. While everything's out, I'll try to power wash it and clean the engine bay and maybe paint the engine bay. And then when I put it all back together, I'll have to get a new set of headers. It's funny, there's a set of headers in the trunk, so maybe they got them for this particular reason. Hopefully so, hopefully the same thing and I can just use those. But I hope you like the new project. I'm trying to think of a name of it. I'm kicking around some ideas. The previous owner called it Little Red, Lil Red, and I'm not big on that name for it because that was his project name, you know. So with all the history and going to Holcomb's shootouts and the Civil War event specifically, I think I'm gonna call this Project Civil War because that's history of what it was. It was a class winner in the brackets at Civil War at Rockingham back when Holcomb Motorsports used to put those events together. So let me get it down. I'm gonna start cleaning up a little bit, get all the stickers off the windows and everything like that. And yeah, just hope you guys like the new project and follow along. amazing what just pulling the stickers off cleaned it up. Now clearly it's filthy still, but look at all those stickers and stuff gone. On the windshield too, that looks so much better. So the plan is now, that was pretty easy fix. Got to clean up all the trash on the floor, and I'm going to start ripping the motor apart and getting it out. All right. You know, there's something satisfying about going to somebody else's wiring and just saying, you know what, I'm not even going to deal with this. And you just go in here and just cut it out of the way and throw it in the trash. So as you can tell, this is weird. He's got transmission lines running up on top of the motor and down. I've never seen that in all my years of doing these hot rods. Never have I seen it run up and over like that, but I get it. You want to get away from the headers, but I don't know. It seems to be there's a better way. But anyway, I've unhooked most everything on here now. I'm just getting into the wiring, everything disconnected from the motor. Got to get all this off, and yeah, unhook these transmission lines, get the radiator out, unhook the motor mounts and the cross member for the transmission, the shifter cable, the drive shaft, all that good stuff. And I'm yanking this bad boy out today. Right. So as I'm getting it apart, I'll show you how disgusting that radiator is. Can you see that? Maybe. Yeah, it looks terrible. So we gotta drain that out. Typically that happens if you're running just water, and sometimes not distilled water. But being in aluminum like that and being so long, that's a great radiator. Looks like a really big electric fan, which would be fine. He had an electric water pump, which hopefully still works. I want to utilize everything that was on this car if I can, but definitely gonna get the motor checked out. Got to put headers on it anyway. So, all right, continue on. Look at that. Nasty. When I squeezed this hose, it crunched. That's always a great sign. All right, let's see how big a mess I can make. Of course, it's completely missing the bucket. Nice. Well, there we go. Nasty. Look at that. I wanted you to see it before it quit coming out. There it goes. Looks like orange Kool-Aid. Oof. So before I yank this out, I gotta unhook the transmission cooler lines here. They're just rubber, so I'm just gonna cut them because I'm not gonna reuse them. You know me, if you watch my TT Fox I just finished putting together, I put PTFE lines on it. So let me cut that, I'll get the radiator out, we'll proceed on. Well, one thing I didn't count on, the steering shaft goes through the tubes of the headers. So I can't just snatch out the motor with the headers on it like that. I gotta either take the headers off and let them lay in the car, or take the steering shaft off and all that to pull it out. But a bonus, I got in here and I was like, why is the brake hanging like this? Check this out. One of the studs is broke off the manual brake adapter, and the other one looks like it broke, but there's nothing, there's not enough material to hold it on anyway. So I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know if it was just the rust or pressure or what, but that's clearly something I gotta fix, which I didn't realize that was broke. So thing about getting a project car, you get all the project. We figured out all these headers, and I won't show you all these videos of taking it apart because you've seen these a million times, but I will do the highlight stuff where I'm snatching it out. So let me work on it some more and I'll show you. The more I thought about it, I'm like, these headers are garbage anyway. Why am I gonna spend the time to try to unhook them with those rusty bolts and mess with the steering shaft? I ain't doing that. Guess what I'm gonna do? The torch. That's what I'm gonna do. Hang tight. That was easy. Ain't gotta worry about them holding the motor in. Might as well be consistent, do this side too. That header's all beat up anyway. See right there? So, finish this up. All right, I'm getting close. Got the plate on the carburetor intake so I can pull the motor out. I got to unhook the motor mounts, which are right here. Pretty easy. As I told you, I already got rid of the header tubes there, unhooked them. But I noticed all this rust on the floor, started looking. You know, right here past my X pipe, I got holes in it, so I won't be able to use that as it is. So, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm not even gonna try to take these rusty bolts off. We're gonna whack this thing off and pull the exhaust out of the way. Then I'm gonna unhook the drive shaft from here. And before I pull it out, I'll go ahead and drain whatever fluid's in there. Drain the fluid out, pull the drive shaft out, unhook the cross member here and unbolt this from the mount. Unhook the shifter cable there, and any of these wires might be hooked to it, if not. And then, gonna snatch this bad boy out of here, but for now, there's so much rust. Look what came out of the header tubes where the holes were. So I'm gonna take my torch and do some more work and start getting this thing out. Look at all this rust and debris and crap where the mice put stuff in there. Crazy, right? But either way, when you don't care about it, that's how you get it off. So I'll go ahead and cut these off and drop these bullet mufflers out and this. But what a mess in my garage, man. Right here you can clearly see where it's got holes in it. Holes there, holes there. Look. That's wild. Surprisingly, the fluid actually looks really good out of this transmission. Nice and red. So that may be one thing I don't have to worry about freshening up. So you never know. If the fluid was dark, I'd say the clutches had been burned or whatever, but the fluid looking that good, I think I'm gonna run it. As expected, the oil's black, but it looks like oil that came out and not any water or anything, which is good. But I don't know what's going on here. That is the most siliconed up bolt I've ever seen in my life. I mean, the threads were silicone, the head was silicone, orange and black. So I'm assuming the way this pan looks, the pan was probably in bad shape and they siliconed it so it didn't leak oil. But yeah, that's not how I fix things. I'll just get a new pan and call it a day. Now, pans are expensive. They used to be a couple $100. Now they're like $500 for like a Canton or Moroso, but either way, we'll figure it out. All right, it's out. Told you I'd have it out. Check that out. All right, let's start tearing this thing apart. All right, got the bolts off. Took the vacuum to it real quick. Look at there. All right, what we have here, friends, is a solid camshaft. Looking in there, I'm hoping it is a solid roller. but you can tell by these lifters, those are solid lifters, and these are up neutral, not on the cam. And you see we got a little gap in there. I bet if I check that, that's probably between 10 and 14 thousandths or something like that. But no name stamp on the rockers, but they look really nice and really clean. Let's try this side. Not happy about how that water looked in there, but that's again typical from one sitting up. Oh, well, that's interesting. All right, so valve covers are very, very clean. Very clean on the inside. That's a nice touch. Don't know why we've got different rockers on this side. It's got a lot of lash on it. That one's kind of loose. Those are tight. That one's definitely loose though. So valves need to be run, but I mean a 1.6 rocker is a 1.6 rocker. It doesn't really matter if they don't match. But that's weird. All right, well, continue on. Next step is to pull the rockers off and the push rods out and the lifters and pull the heads off. So before I do that, I'm gonna try to check the clearance on here and just see what it might have been. Maybe wondering why I didn't just spin the motor and get it off the cam, because I'm trying not to turn this motor over much at all because I don't know what's in the cylinders. That's why. So anyway, I'll pull the rockers off. Let me get a tote or something and put these in, and I'll put the push rods and those out. Well, while we're here, let's just go ahead and do that like this. Yep, it's a roller. It's a solid roller. Those are nice. Yeah, those are real nice. Okay, bonus. SVO block 351, solid roller camshaft. You could tell when it had the bronze distributor gear on it that it was probably going to be a solid cam, which is cool. I'm sure it will get down and sound good. And what's funny here is on the intake manifold, he had a nitrous plate, but these are ports for fogger, and they're just got bolts in them. So you know me, if I build it back the way I would have had this car in the late 90s, early 2000s when I was doing my racing, we're going to do a plate and a fogger. And what you do is you leave on the plate because it hits harder, and about 1.2 seconds in, you bring in the fogger. So you leave on like 150, and then you bring in 200 on the fogger. And let me tell you something, brother, shit's going to get down. Right, that was easy. Cylinders look all right. That's excellent, because I was worried. Looks like it has a little bit of a dish piston in it. All right, cylinders actually look really good. There's a little bit of rust there where I had to turn the motor over one whole rotation to get the torque converter bolts out, so I don't like that, but whatever. It'll probably clean up, be fine. I gotta take these out and get that one off, but so far so good. Hey, check this out. So pan's off, got a girdle. You can tell it's got H-beam rods in it. It's got the part number for the pistons there. I'll look those up tomorrow. Pretty stout bottom end. You can tell that's a steel crank by looking at it. See how that black looks on it, that coating. Nice, but look at this in the pickup tube. That is silicone. Look at that. Wow, right? And this is why I never trust an engine that's been sitting up for years. At a minimum, you should do this. You should tear it all the way apart and look at it and put fresh gaskets in it at a minimum. So I'm sure it looks good everywhere, but I'm going to pull a cap off the rod and see what the bearings are looking like. And if the rod bearings look good, then the rest of it's probably fine. And I'll clean it all up, paint it up, put all new gaskets on it, a brand new oil pan, because this oil pan is doo-doo. And once that's done, I'll move on. But yeah, this is an A351 SVO block from back in the day. So this is a really good block, upgraded block. And I think the A351 was capable of being bored 60 over with no problem. But I don't know what this one's bored to. I can check it later. But yeah, so a lot of good parts on this thing. It's just a shame it sat up like it did, and clearly moisture got down in there, and then, you know, whatever's going on here with what it was trying to pick. So I'll take all this off. I'll blow that out and clean it off real good and get rid of some of this old oil that had what looked like just a little bit of moisture in it. So if the bearings look good, then we will proceed on. If the bearings don't look good, then I'll take all this apart, get it machined, put it back together, and then decide if it needs pistons, if I'm gonna keep those dish pistons or go to a knobby dome piston that's good for NOS. Because technically, if I'm gonna run a two-stage nitrous system like I was talking about earlier, I want about 13 to 14 to 1 compression with this thing. And those heads are a little 202 160 valve from Canfield, and they're probably fine. They've been ported by Fox Lake, but I'd have to check piston to valve clearance. And in all honesty, a big Windsor could use a 205 or 208 intake valve. So I don't know. The heads look pretty good. I mean, you can tell they've been ported. With a big opening there. It's a 1262 gasket. So we'll see. Got a lot of decisions to make on what the build's going to go for Project Civil War. But for now, it's kind of good news, bad news. It looks good. It's got good parts in it. It just needs a few touch-ups and cleanups. But overall, not too shabby. And seeing this makes me feel better about this SVO block. Back in the day, there was Fun Ford Weekend, and it was an event for basically your Ford-powered car to go in and have different classes to run, from heads up to bracket racing. They had car shows. They had a lot of things to choose from, so you could run your Ford and have a good time. Sadly, those series went away years ago, but it inspired a lot of the builds from back then that were really top of the line. They're kind of pale by comparison today. But back then, if you wanted to go fast, you went for cubic inches. So you had a small block Ford, you go for the 351 block. In this case, the guy I got this car from had a SVO block. A351 was the part number, and it was bored 30 over, had a 408 stroker kit in it with a set of J&E dish pistons, a set of H-beam rod, steel crank, a set of Canfield heads, which basically were a copy of the Trick Flow high port head from back in the day with 202 160 valves and all, and they were ported by Fox Lake. He had a Super Victor Junior intake manifold, an AED 950 carburetor, a set of headers, a C4 transmission, a nitrous kit and all. And he was very effective at winning races, bracket racing. He has a lot of stickers and decals and things where he was a winner. So I'm reviving this combination. It's an old school build. Follow along. Be sure to comment, like, and subscribe.